Okay, sharing and then sharing my screen again. There you go. Okay, so now again, as usual, some technical issues. Welcome everyone to our first OCP EMEA workstream call in 2024. Happy New Year to everyone. It will be a short one, so we take it easy. Last time in December, the learning from our December call, it was too packed, it was too full. So I planned actually two presentations, two guest presentations for our session today. Unfortunately, one is not happening, but of course, we are fortunate that we have Gögen Günis from Asker Power Generation Europe. He will talk us through a really detailed guest presentation. I think it's about 30 slides. The agenda is like this, as you can see here, hopefully from my screen. I kick it off with some slides with some updates, what's happening here in the OCP EMEA community. Then I will give the word to Gögen. He will talk us through really a detailed presentation. And of course, as usual, at the end of our session, we have time to answer some questions and to receive some feedback from you guys. All right, so let me continue here with my presentation. The objectives I will skip. Okay, a quick update. And these are some slides from the December session already, but as you can possibly recall, our regular people joining these kind of calls, there was no time really to have a look at them. We only looked at one. So I just want to finish this off and share this with the community, how the last year really ended for us as a OCP community, some updates on the last event. So this is an event some of you guys also went in Dublin, a well-known data center event, Data Center Island in Dublin, 22nd of 23rd. There also Gögen was present. There I met also Gögen. You can see we had a panel here, really lively discussion. And what I'm always like, as you know, people, you know me, these were really data center experts, and we have experts from all angle or from all areas of a data center site, really from the outside to the inside. So this was really also well perceived by the audience, from my understanding. You can see here the topic, combined heat compute, and you know also the usual suspects. I can be for sure, but that's why I would like to continue here. This was a one in the beginning of December in my hometown of Munich. This was a telecommunication data center event. And there I was also lucky and fortunate to join this panel about cloud computing. This is a fairly new trade show for me. Um, and we will for sure this year also join this one. We have been already invited to to have an active part. Of course, the panel as such is not yet decided, as we still have some time until December. Okay, and this was the last one I wanted to also share with you guys, the last one of last year in the really cold and it was extremely cold there in Stockholm at the 7th of December. This was a data center forum event at that day. And I think Raoul can confirm it was pretty chilly. I think when I arrived the day before, it was daytime minus 17 degrees. So it was really cold, but yeah, it was worthwhile going. There was a presentation. There was a possibility to do a joint presentation with our good friend Hendrik Berling from Huawei, and followed by a panel discussion, which was also really appreciated here from my side. I needed to be flexible because straight after this presentation, I needed to change the room and join this presentation, as you can see here at the left-hand bottom side here of that slide. I was really happy to be able to join this kind of events. And the data center forum events are focusing on the Nordic region. Yeah, the Nordics are extremely successful. They are ahead of competition when it comes to renewable energy, or let's say as such, running data center sites as sustainable as possible. Energy prices are really low. Again, 100% renewable energy, and so on and so forth. So they have a competitive advantage, and this event series is really focusing on Scandinavia, including Iceland. So a last reminder here for everyone here in the call, this is our European summit, the regional summit, which will take place, as you all know, in Lisbon in Portugal this year. 2 days, the 24th and 25th of April. As already mentioned, I think several times now in the last calls, if you are up for a presentation, if you're up for sharing some insights, what you do or what your company is doing, or please submit your request to have this active part at this summit. The so-called call for papers is open since the 5th of December. It will be closed at the 5th of February. From the last couple of years, there was already an extension of this deadline. So it might be the case. We don't know yet. They maybe extended 1 week or something. But yeah, please, if you have something, try to submit. Of course, there is no guarantee that you will be able to do this presentation, as of course there are many people joining, and in the end of the day, it's a committee from the US staff, from the US team, deciding who will be able to share some insights at that event in Lisbon. Okay. And here, this is also an update I shared with you. This is now the OCP EMEA team. We are really, really happy that now we managed. So some changes have happened throughout during the years, or just before Christmas. So Antti here, you can see here on the right-hand side, right-hand corner here, Antti Lane from Finland. He accepted to join. So we now completed our team. Yeah. So again, the guys who didn't join the December call, we have Stefan Hack. He's taking care of UK Ireland now. We have François. He's in the call. François is taking care of France. Jerome. Hi, François. We have Jeroen. He will possibly join a bit later. He's taking care of the Benelux. Raúl in the call. He's our responsible person for Iberia, Portugal, and Spain. I will take care of the so-called DACH region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and also about on CEE, Central European Europe, or Eastern Europe, as you might say. And last but not least, as we already mentioned, Antti for the Nordic regions, the Scandinavian countries, including Iceland. And another change has also happened. So David, our good friend David, who also has been leading this call, decided not to take the lead anymore. Yeah, so he dropped out. Of course, he will still support us and still join these calls. But the leadership position he has left. And as you all know me, open and transparent, Raúl here from the team already said he would love to really also take the leadership role, so take the position David has been done. So yeah, Raúl is more than welcome. Yeah, it's still pending, but of course, yeah, Raúl I think is no big deal, as you all know him. He's very knowledgeable. He has a great network, so I think he's a really good candidate to do this. Yeah, but of course we still need to, and this is also part of being as transparent as possible. It still needs to be finalized with the US team here. But my personal view, I cannot see any obstacles. But of course, it's not official yet. So okay. Raúl, you want to add something, or did I say something wrong?
No, that's completely right. I mean, we discussed this before. I think that to be fair and share, we need to open this to the community to maybe open a round of voting and betting from my side. But I'm more than happy to step in the meantime if there's any urgent tasks to be done.
Perfect. All right. So I think this was all from my side. Really a brief update here, what's happening. So I will now leave this presentation, hopefully. Hang on. Finish.
Hi,
Finish.
Stefan. This is Matti from Circle B. Quick question. So you
Yeah,
mentioned
please.
Jeroen will join the leadership a little bit later. Can you
Yes.
give some timelines around that, when that is? I mean, obviously being located in the Benelux, we'd be keen to connect.
Yeah, from my understanding, he should join in 10, 15 minutes latest, he said. So
Oh, okay. For today, I thought you meant joining the leadership. No, understood.
no, no,
Thank you.
no, no, no. So yeah, um, of course he's more than happy also to try to join the leadership role. I haven't talked about him about this, yeah. But he's part of the European team taking care of the Benelux. This is the latest status with what we're having at the moment. And Raoul already said he would be really love to take David's position here. So this is let me. How can I finish now here? Okay, good. Oh, so I finished this presentation now, and I will unshare my screen now, Guggen.
Or
Um,
I made some slight changes, so it's best if I can share, if
exactly. So
possible.
let me unshare my screen, and then you please share your screen and talk us through your presentation. I really,
Okay.
of course, I was in a position to have a look at it already. So
Uh,
a lot of really good information here. It's a detailed presentation, so all yours now, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't worry, it's 27 slides, but I'll try to fit it in 20 minutes maximum. So,
No worries. So we have, you are fortunate. Sorry, I interrupted you, Gergen, but you are fortunate. You are the only guest presentation for today. Yeah, there was a second one planned, so there's plenty of time. You can take it easy, and yeah, it's all yours.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Stefan. Also, I want to start by wishing everyone a happy new year. And thanks
Thank
for
you.
inviting me today to your 24th first Open Compute Project call. Today, I want to tell you of course, who we are as AXA Power Generation and how we are seeing the data center market today and our solutions. You mentioned about sustainability, especially Europe is a pioneer and there is big changes and what we are doing from that perspective. And let me start by my presentation here. As you can see, AXA Power Generation belongs to a conglomerate which is mainly focusing on energy. It's Kazancı Holding, headquarters is in Istanbul, in Turkey. So our first company is AXA Energy. This is a publicly listed company, largest independent power producer in Turkey, but we also have our own power plants in developing worlds today. We have in Ghana, Mali, Madagascar, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Cyprus, wherever energy is needed. So our operation capacity is about 2,700 megawatts with different technologies. Recently, also, we are awarded some new renewables projects, including storage in both solar and wind. And hydrogen is also coming. We are very excited about this. So we have now 30 plus power plants globally. And as I said, this is a publicly listed company with around $2.5 billion in revenues last year. So AXA Electricity, also, this is a grid and electricity trading company. They are also having EV chargers. And we are distributing around 7% of electricity in Turkey, and we have some electricity trading with cross-border areas. And as I said, some EPC solar projects under AXA Solar here, under AXA Electricity, and also AXA Charge. like the French word, also it's same word in Turkish, the EV chargers business, which is also growing up in Turkey as well, like everywhere else in Europe and in the world. And Aksa Natural Gas, this is the largest private natural gas distribution company in Turkey again. It has over 4 million subscribers, so around distributing 22% of natural gas. And we also have agriculture and tourism business. We have 5 hotels around Turkey, which is also a important tourism spot, as you know, and an agriculture business, but these are much more hobby businesses. And where these all big stories started, it's Aksa Power Generation. So we are one of the 5 largest power generator manufacturers globally. We are producing in Turkey, China, USA, and in Spain. We have acquired majority shares in a company recently. And I will tell more, but we also have trade centers. I'm based in the Netherlands. We are managing all our European operations out of the Netherlands, a city called Dordrecht, which is just 20 minutes south of Rotterdam, and a big also trade center in Emirates. And we are selling through our large partners network to 178 countries, which contributes a total revenues of around $6.5 billion with 12,000 employees worldwide.
Mhm.
So if we have a look at the milestones, our story began in 1960s with electricity motors, and first Aksa branded generator was produced in 1984. And our first factory in 1995, a proper factory in Istanbul, was opened. And our first international operations started in Singapore in 1997 and 1998. Our operations in the UK started around Leicester City. We are still there with our offices and people. And our first global factory was in China, 2007 and 2012. We have opened our recent factory, which is the largest production facility in power generators globally. It's 120,000 square meters. And we have opened our USA factory in 2013, but now we are moving to a larger place around Houston. I will show it as well. And here in the Netherlands, we are present since October 2020. We were having some home office operations here, but then we said after Brexit, let's move to our European headquarters to the Netherlands. And we are a team of 12 here, including sales and after sales. And in each country, we are working with respected partners who can provide services and after sales services also on our behalf. And of course, Spain, DaggerTech acquisition is also a major step in our story. We have both Agreco's operations in Turkey before for our rental company, but as a manufacturing facility, it's a first in Aksa as well. DaggerTech, founded by David Garcia, is also an important company, especially in robust rental unit, stage 5 units manufacturing, based in Zaragoza. So I have mentioned some of the details, but we have our 27 offices as Aksa, as direct investments ourselves. We have recently opened our own office in Saudi Arabia in December last year. So, you know, it's also a rapidly changing and growing market with lots of new investments, including data centers as well. And our factory in Spain, just with the acquisition of DaggerTech last year again, Q3, it has started operations under, it continued operations under Aksa as a sister company. And our Houston factory is also recently opened. It's ramping up. Full production will be ready at the end of the Q2 this year. But rather than this, we have our offices in the different parts of the world, from UK to Singapore, from Ghana to Algeria. You can see it in the slides. With these offices and also strong partners, we are covering almost everywhere in the world, and serving, as I said, 178 countries with strong partnerships. So how we approach the data center industry? Indeed, we are not an engine manufacturer, but we are the largest independent packager in the world. We have very good relations with tier one suppliers that you will see in the next slides. But we started by approving all of our solutions for uprising tier 3 and tier 4 market. So we went to the Uptime Institute. They have run a test procedure almost taking, including documentation, 1 year. So they have approved and awarded us with a compliance letter that 73 different models of ours, from Cummins up to 3,125 kVA, Perkins up to 2,250 kVA, and Mitsubishi up to 2,500 kVA, are compliant to tier 3 and tier 4 data center standards, which are the highest standards of Uptime Institute. So, but when a project comes, we have a specific data center team in headquarters. So when a project comes, we form the team which is required for that project. Project owner is assigned, and based on the feedbacks from the regional sales teams, also our clients or consultant company, all the data center specification needs are decided. Then it comes to the product selection, where our engineering teams are coming to the table as well, and all these selection and documentation meetings are held. Corporate architecture design team is integrating this into the implementing the process, and our related technical data center library about this project is established, and we manage the whole process through this team specifically designed for a specific project. So when it comes to data center statistics, of course, power generator market, it's one of the fastest growing and most critical segments. So today it's around 5.2, it's expected to be $5.2 billion this year, just the procurement of power generators for data centers industry globally. And it's growing by around 4.3%. Also, it's a much higher growth than the other segments. And here I have a video, but I won't run it here, but you can always see our video on our YouTube channel on AXA Power Generation. And what makes AXA different among the competitors? First, as I mentioned, we have a very widespread services globally. We can provide 24/7 service for our clients with our strong partners. At maximum a few hours flight, we can reach anywhere on the planet. And as mentioned, dedicated data center team. Now we are about to run this as a separate business unit, not only as a separate team. We were also discussing this early in the morning, and recently we are also took the decision to run it as a dedicated team, since it's growing very rapidly. And faster lead times, this is really one of the competitive edges for AXA. Thanks to our parent company and healthy financial situation, we know quick delivery data centers are not small investments, but today there are some bottlenecks. Power generators are also one of these bottlenecks. Some of our competitors can provide realistically from 12 to 24 months delivery times. So this is really constituting a kind of bottleneck for the investors, because they are also putting in a serious amount of money for an investment. A data center, especially a large one, is a big investment today. Financing costs are high, so they need to run it as quickly as possible. For us as AXA, we are keeping anytime $150 to $200 million of engine and alternator and in general critical item stocks, and that help us to provide our generators depending on the model, engine model, depending on the power range, depending on the, of course, application, if it's spatial application, spatial container, spatial radiator needs, other things, the things we will supply from outside. But 6 months is a safe and realistic delivery time for us. We can have it as short as 3 to 4 months as well, or if it's a critical application, it can go up to 8 months as well. But this is one of our competitive advantages, since we are not waiting for engines or alternators, and it's just mainly on us to plan and produce. And also, you have seen our global widespread sales network and tailor-made solutions. That's also something making us special. 35% of our total production globally is tailor-made. This is sometimes depending on the radiator and cooling solutions suitable for different temperatures. Sometimes it's about super silent solutions. Sometimes it's about, if it's not an easy to reach place, high capacity fuel tanks. Also, we are applying fire detection and extinguishing systems, sometimes on the units, sometimes on the canopies, cabinets, and remote monitoring system, also synchronization. This is also an area where we are pretty strong. For example, I will give you an example of Istanbul Grand Airport. We have 105 megawatts, including their data center, and all of them Perkins 2500 kVA units, and they are in that bus synchronization and go live less than 9 seconds. So you mentioned about sustainability as well, renewables as well. It's also at utmost importance to AXA. And also we got a Sustainability Center Award, Environmental Leadership Award last year about our awareness raising our organization. Of course, there are different steps. There are first things, what we can do ourselves. So what we can do ourselves to produce eco-friendly, low-carbon emission generators. For example, in Istanbul, we have our factory with solar rooftop that supply a serious amount of electricity that we are consuming ourselves. So, but also not only our manufacturing, but the product we are providing to our clients should be energy efficient, should save fuel, should reduce the gas emissions, and at the end, lower carbon footprints. And we are working on different solutions. One of them is, of course, stage 5 by also European law. We need to, if a unit is running mobile, if it's not a stationary unit, and if it's not a standby unit, then today we need to run it with stage 5 engines. So there, especially our new partner, Daggertech, is a very professional company working on stage 5 from early days. And so with stage 5 units, we can sharply reduce the harmful exhaust emissions from diesel engines, improve air quality, and of course reduce the environmental impacts. And sometimes it's not just the carbon emissions. Sometimes our clients need retrofitting. There we also have partners where we can decrease the NOx, harmful chemicals as well with our partners. Last year we did one project in Switzerland and one important project in Germany, where we worked with a third-party partner that we can also retrofit our products to decrease the harmful exhaust emissions. And of course, HVO. I'm sure you are aware, in today's data center world, it's very popular, hydrotreated vegetable oil. And I will tell you more about HVO as well. HVO, as I said, is a type of fuel made from vegetable oils. This can be sometimes rapeseed, soybeans, palms, sometimes waste cooking oils, and it's produced through a process called hydrotreating. and it's considered to be a sustainable alternative to fossil fuels today because it's produced from renewable feedstocks and lower carbon emissions. And it's not only about the fuel. When you think about the vegetable and its growing period, where it also captures the carbon through that period, it turns to have a very strong impact on your carbon emissions, as I will show in the next slide. So today you can, by using HVO, reduce your carbon emissions up to 90% and your NOx emissions up to 27%. So it's definitely creating a big difference. And luckily, many of our engines, I will show as well, also many of the engines in the market are HVO compliant. So it means you don't need to invest something else by buying a standard AXA unit which runs through an HVO engine, which is also in warranty and guarantee. You can reduce your costs up to 90%. Today, we are talking about new technologies, batteries, hydrogen units, fuel cells, but these are, with today's world, are not affordable solutions yet. And but with HVO, you can really cut your emissions seriously. And this started already a big trend. Big data centers, especially we see many examples out of France, are changing their existing generators with HVO compliant ones, and they are then cutting their emissions seriously. And of course, hydrotreated vegetable oil solves also some problems that biodiesel used to have. For example, you can store it for 10 years, which provides you a very big lifespan when you buy in bulk. Or cold weather performance, even diesel engine, you need to, for diesel, you need to heat to use it after minus 10 degrees. But with HVO, you can use it without any treatment up to minus 40 degrees. It's almost many places on Earth. And also it's better for machinery with the diesel bug resistant and improves engine health. And so, as I say, it's not only about sustainability, environmental and corporate social responsibility, but also brings tangible benefits to your business and to your equipment as well. And in numerical, you can see how much carbon emission from a diesel engine you can have per ton, and how much from HVO you can have. So this, as I said, comes with not only carbon and NOx, but also 30% reduction in particulate matter emissions, also CO emissions as well. So our HVO compatible generators are also the ones who are uptime compliant to be tier 3 and tier 4 in Cummins, Perkins, and Mitsubishi. And you can see our full range on our websites, or when you have a question, you can reach us anytime to be informed as well. And also for you to understand generally, for data center industry specifically, with Mitsubishi, we have a joint venture in China. MGS, Mitsubishi AXA joint venture, provides power generators to Chinese leading data centers. This year, their revenue was around $30 million only in data center industry, and Mitsubishi is really ramping up Mitsubishi AXA JV in this area. So it brings us a very good relation with Mitsubishi globally as well, and we can provide our solutions with Mitsubishi to anywhere in the world, directly acquiring from Japan. For Cummins, also, we are one of the largest OEMs of Cummins, and we have very good relations since 1980s. So it's in different technologies. We are also working on some different strategic partnership models. Perkins, also a Caterpillar company. We have very good relations since old times, and we are providing our Perkins, Cummins, or Mitsubishi solutions, whichever our customer wants. Since we are an independent manufacturer and we don't have an engine investor behind, that gives us an opportunity to be purely customer-centric. We don't need to push any engines or something. It's really depending on the customer needs, project needs, so we can tailor our solution accordingly. Rather than these three, just for you to know, we have very good relations with Hyundai Doosan. We are acquiring around 35% of their total production. So we have been the best partner for the 9 consecutive years. And also for stage 5 units, John Deere, Volvo Penta, and we provide Deutz as well with DaggerTech. And Baduan is also an uprising engine. We can also provide Cummins on in marine segment, especially nothing to do with data centers, and PSI with gas engines. And for alternators, again, and control panels, we are working with globally well-known companies, Stanford and McAlty of Italy, and Deep Sea, Dave, and Comap. So I already mentioned about Uptime Institute, but of course, our uptime compliance letters are anytime ready to provide our partners and also data center investors, operators, engineering companies to see the working conditions of our engines. And also with uptime is not enough. It's always for tier projects. ISO certifications are needed, and we have all the related global certificates needed for this as well. And recently, by European Commission, we have awarded as an endorser of data center European Commission Data Center Code of Conduct, which is also listed in the link below, which helps our client to understand, and also our internal teams to understand what our responsibilities are when we are producing our power generators. Sorry, is there a question?
Yeah.
Okay, I can see the screen. That's why if there are any questions, you can interrupt me anytime, or we can do it at the end of the presentation as well. So in here, we are trying to provide you an understanding of our projects. We were a late entrant to data center segment, but now in the last few years, we are ramping up pretty quickly. And we are also doing very prestigious projects worldwide for very prestigious clients as well. And so far, we have completed 220 megawatt power in 18 countries, rather than our partnership with Mitsubishi. When you count Mitsubishi AXA joint venture in China, this comes to over 1,000 megawatts in data center industry only. We can provide any references and references list in case of any questions from your side as well, unless if they are not confidential, of course. So I want to also provide you some case studies here. This one is harsh weather condition case study for the data center of Saudi Electricity Corporation. Also, it was a 19 megawatt project that we did with Cummins QSK series, with Stanford alternators, and a special application remote radiator in Riyadh. This was including also middle voltage alternators, not only low voltage alternators, and the radiator was designed to operate up to 55 degrees with a vertical 15 meters, horizontal 10 meters distance between the remote radiator and the generator. Probably all calculation and design here is made by our own AXA engineering teams, where we have around 30 people in our Istanbul office, and again, around 20 to 30 in our China manufacturing facility. So also we have provided auxiliary equipments as well as in this project, like oil auto maintainer, spatial automatic voltage regulator to waveform the voltage better, spatial control module as well. And you can see the 3D drawings, as I said, where you have a 15 meters difference between the radiator and the generator as well. So another case study is about emergency loads, for example. This is also a national information center where we have 20 megawatts of power. It's also powered by Cummins, this one. Especially in this one, again, harsh hot conditions was one of the issues, but plus we need to make sure the bearing load of the generators must be ready to bear the load in 10 seconds for emergency operation. So we can then tailor our projects with these needs as well, as you can see from the project. And also noise level. This is, for example, Telenor's Karachi data center. But in here, units are specifically containerized to 45 feet to achieve 70 decibel noise level restrictions. And it was placed over a 8-floor rise building. So, as you may know, Telenor is the second largest GSM operator in Pakistan. So this is where we have located this spatial power generator, as you can see during the construction of the new Karachi data center. So indeed, as a summary, what we are doing as AXA, we have a dedicated team, a wide global network, and spread ourselves, tailor-made production, and offering this with competitive prices and faster lead times, with also globally well-known certifications and tier 1 suppliers in an environmental friendly way. So thank you for my thank you for listening to me. That's all about my presentation, and I would love to answer the questions as well.
Thank you very much, Gürgen. Very interesting presentation here. As Gürgen has been mentioning, yeah, he's up for more questions. So we have also plenty of time. This time we have 50 minutes left. I could also see that Raoul also shared some questions in the chat here. So Raoul, maybe you want to kick off with your questions? Obviously not at the moment.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry,
maybe I
sorry
can
about
go.
that. Yeah, sorry about that. Let me go. Yeah, let's see. Well, actually, I just wrote those on the chat just to not interrupt. But I'm actually curious about the impact of the new, let's say, European Efficiency Acts on data center and how those products are actually integrated into the data center, and how do you support this Efficiency Act in terms of reporting? I don't know if you can elaborate on that, please.
Thank you for the question. Of course, I'm not technically very aware of the European Energy Efficiency new act, but as far as I know, this European Energy Efficiency Act is also coming through this European Commission, who has already provided us the code of conduct approval. I guess it's a part of code of conduct. There were lots of technical questions going through that process as well. Our engineering team is not here today, but I'm sure we are also fitting in that as well. But of course, there are European general protocols plus regional protocols, especially Stefan knows perhaps better than I do, but in Germany, by different states, there can be different standards and regulations as well. There we are working with our local partners together to make sure in these standards we don't make any mistakes, and we act accordingly to that region. But as I said, I can't answer your question about exact European Efficiency Act regulations compliance, but I can learn this and inform you.
Perfect. So yeah,
Thank you.
maybe you can have a look at this. Yeah, the European Energy Efficient Act is active based on the European directive from the European Commission, of course, as you already mentioned. It's active or have been activated now in Germany, and more European countries will follow. So I think it's a valid thing, and I'm sure your engineers are already considering this.
I'm also almost sure, but I don't want to answer on their behalf, of course.
Of course, I can fully understand this. I really like the approach when it comes to the OVH, yeah, the vegetable oil you're using. Do you have any use cases already with that?
For Europe, we just started indeed because we had the time to correspond with the engine manufacturers about the warranty issues, how it affects. And for example, Mitsubishi just replied us last week that
Mhm.
it's HVO compliant. Perhaps some of our partners are selling this, but not in data center industry yet.
Mhm.
But we are expecting some tractions this year, especially. We see the interest, but and not application yet.
I found this really interesting because you said you could really using that vegetable oil as a fuel, substituting fossil fuel, you can really reduce when it comes to power generation 90% of the CO2 emissions, where I think it's great. There are also power generators with hydrogen. Yeah, with hydrogen, there are some companies who also have some use cases. I think we will see more of this coming now in the industry. There were more questions.
Yes,
Please.
but for hydrogens, just
Okay.
as a comment, you need to pay not slightly, seriously, much higher amounts to provide this power in a sustainable way.
Mhm.
That's why market is very much turning into HVO. We can also see in the exhibitions, not only us, for Kohler Group, for Rolls-Royce Energy, MTU Group,
Mhm.
they are heavily trying to inform their clients as well about how they can cut their carbon emissions today, not with tomorrow's technology, in an affordable way. So that's a big advantage today.
Okay, I understand. There is also Francois. You raised your hand already, so you have some questions. I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah. On top of this discussion, first of all, thank you very much for the presentation. Very interesting. But I wanted to have another view of enhancement because basically, I mean, all seems to be good, but on the other hand, as we know, the climate change is quite of an important topic. It would be really interesting if you could see, if you could give us out of the 2,700 megawatt that you're producing, what is the percentage of coal? I mean, this is certainly an important trigger. And what is your how much of this coal energy or fossil energy are you planning to reduce? Because this is what we're looking for is really to show that the data center is a clean energy, and we need to give real facts.
Thank you for the question. First, just to make it clear, AXA Energy is our sister company, but have nothing to do with the AXA Power Generation, where we produce power generators. Regarding AXA Energy today, coal is I can't tell you precisely, but it's on our website. It's a public company. Coal is not the largest source of producing of our power plants. We have HFO. We have also all other different technologies. But from strategic point of view, up to 2030, we are planning to reach to 10,000 megawatts operational running capacity from around 3,000 today. It's 2,700, but with under construction, it's 3,000. And now recently we got around 600 megawatts, all renewables, new licenses. As I said, solar and wind also including storage. And we are expecting some other tender results before the half fund this year as well. But from when we walk through 3,000 to 10,000 megawatts, at least 50% of these new investments will come through renewables. This is on our strategic plan and commitment. But when I say renewables, other 50% doesn't mean coal. Generally, we are in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, where they have natural gas. So our power plants are running through this natural gas, which is already on the field, which is already not transported, but in the baseland. So no transportation cost, no extra also negative impact to the environment. If someone has that resources like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, then we go and use that natural gas through combined cycle plants. This is also, for example, Ukraine today. Ukraine government is inviting all the parties because they have quite some serious gas stocks as well to have combined cycled power plants where they can produce electricity through the natural gas resources they have. But as I said, renewables has a big area in our investment plan. This is not only wind and solar, also hydrogen and offshore wind as well.
Okay.
I'm sometimes helping them for their European projects. That's why I can answer in this detail.
Thank you very much.
Gülgen, there was also a comment here in the chat, in our chat from Lesia. She's also on the call. Lesia was really happy with the presentation, and she's mentioning if you would like to, please be free to submit the call for paper. So basically, submit your request to really share some of your slides at the regional summit in Lisbon. So Lesia is inviting you, but Lesia, you can also say this directly. You are on the call, right?
Yeah. Yes, correct. I think you are able to see me and hear me. Kogan, I'm Lesia with the OCP team. So really, thank you a lot for your presentation. Very timely, very interesting topic. I do have like a very general questions because I understand that the topic of sustainability and sustainable technologies in the data center would be addressed for your technical team. But I'm just curious to know how big is the data center market for your company? And what motivated your company to move towards the data center industry? Because if I understand correctly, it's quite a new new market for the company or recent market.
Yes, thank you. Very interesting question. Globally, for data center, for all power generation industry, today data center industry is around 20 to 25% of total market. So I said 5 billion in that slide. There are also studies that says it's around 3 to 4 billion. Let's say $4 billion out of all $16 billion diesel generator market, or including gas generators, let's say $20 billion, it constitutes around 20 to 25% of the total market. And it's the fastest growing market. Now we are using, I have two phones here in front of me, internet is here, all of us are consuming more data, world is changing, developing world is getting richer. Today, before this industry, I was in consumer goods industry. For example, we had a company in India with Tata Group producing white goods. Just for you to understand, refrigerator penetration back in 4 years was just 20% in India. Washing machine penetration was just 8% in India. I'm not going to mention about dryer because it's almost 1-2% perhaps. So you can imagine today the most populated country in the world is India. These people are producing more, getting more richer, having more refrigerators. When it's 20% to 100%, it means 800 million people. It's not like 10 million, 20 million people. So the world needs more electricity. These people will use more mobile phones. People will use more, not only I'm talking about India, from Africa to all developing world. So it's pretty clear we need more and more data centers to keep everything running up and running. And so we need more generators to make sure the power is there. When there is no power, there is no data, everything stops, life stops. So that's why I'm expecting personally, I'm also discussing this with our senior management on board as well, data center will be 50% of all power generation markets in the next 10 to 15 years. So I'm expecting this 5 billion to go to 15 billion, whereas the power generation market will be 30 billion. And I guess today all data center market is almost a huge giant with around $200 billion industry. It's a huge industry. So that's what I see. Was it the question indeed, or did you ask? Did you
Yes,
have a second?
no, was like a really good response to my questions. And yes, I'm interested to learn about more. I'm sharing my email in the chat box. So we're happy to connect with you and tell you a bit more about the OCP Regional Summit, because I do believe that some cases that you shared with us would be of value. So if you consider submitting and presenting for the community, we can learn a lot from your experience. So let's connect offline and speak about that. Thank
We
you.
would be glad. I also just wrote down my email, and you can always take it from Stefan as well.
Perfect.
So I
sorry.
could answer very shortly. It's very important for us, but I want you to understand more in detail.
All right. So there's one more question. There's also a raised hand. We have 2 minutes left. Hang on.
Hey,
Yes,
it was me. So thank you, Köken, for the presentation, and I thank you for being the second person that has a difficult name to pronounce. So yeah, you saved my day. So I don't have a question, but per se, I wanted to give some information if you are interested about the Energy Efficiency Directive, because we are closely interested in what it's bringing to European market. I'm not going to take a lot of time of yours, but I think, as Köken mentioned, most of the let's say important stuff about the efficiency is stated in the EU Code of Conduct data centers. At the beginning, when the EU introduced the Energy Efficiency Directive, there were some basic data like annual incoming and outgoing data traffic, amount of the data stored and energy consumption, power utilization, and so on. But this is not, it wasn't already clear for me how it's going to describe the overall efficiency of the data centers. Maybe we can also see it with the focus of the power systems. But also now EU introduced the first phase of the establishment of common union rating scheme for data centers. It is still under review right now. Like if you have any comments, I think you can just comment. But in this new document, we only focused on PUE, WE, ERF, REF. So personally, what I believe, like you can see actually how efficient the data center is here. Like you can see the general, like let's say the big picture, the overview of the efficiency measures that you have in your data center. I support this, but it can be still better. So I think as an OCP community, I think we should be a bit more visible, like talk about maybe advantages of DC power distribution, jump into 48 volts, like many other things that we are providing to market. I think, yes, we should scream out more what we can deliver to market. This is my insight so far. Yes, 2 minutes. I can talk for hours, but 2 minutes, as you said.
Thanks for that. It's appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah. I like this lively discussion, and the learning also from today's call is I prefer now to have 1 or 2 presentations instead of 3, so we have more time to discuss here among us. I think this was a worthwhile learning here also from today's session. Also, the chat is also used frequently today. I'm really happy about this. Unfortunately, our time is up now. Many thanks for joining today's call. As usual, I will share the video recording throughout the day, possibly also maybe tomorrow. Let's see how quickly we can manage. Again, Gökhan, many thanks for your time and for sharing these valuable slides with us here. I wish everyone.
Thank you for inviting. Yeah, thank you for inviting again.
You're welcome. I wish everyone a continuous good start of the current year of 2024, and hopefully talk to you guys then in our next monthly call in February. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
take care. All the best. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody. All the best. Bye.